Hey, Mom.
Hi. Hey, I got you something.
Ooh, what is it?
Something you've been wanting.
Oh,
What?
does it smell?
Well, yeah, it's Stinkor. You've been wanting him.
I don't want it, 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 I don't want it.
He's such a baby.
He is.
Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Origins Stinkor, Evil Master of Odors. Yes, this is a favorite of mine from the original toy line. He's so wacky. Many of you know my personal childhood story with Stinkor, so I'm so happy to see him here in the Origins line. And look, product has real smell. It's fun! Of course it is. Stinkor would not be Stinkor if he didn't Stinkor. So I'm really excited to open this guy up and check him out and give him a big ol' whiff. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Of course, he's in that classic Masters of the Universe blister card packaging. Looks just like the vintage toy line. Has the mini comic behind the figure. And as we rotate this around to the backside, we are treated to some absolutely awesome artwork at the top of Stinkor going toe-to-toe with the other smelly Masters figure, Mossman, up there. Pretty great. And then down here, we've got our cross-cell, which shows some of the other figures in this wave, including Webstore and the Green Goddess and our Lords of Power Beastman, and the most amazing little images here for his action features. Look at this girl. Look at her face. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. So, let's go ahead and get Stinkor opened up outside of this packaging, and we'll get a closer look at him. You know, they say that the sense of smell is the thing that is closest tied to your memories. It's the easiest trigger for nostalgia. And I think anybody that had the vintage Stinkor knows exactly what that means, because that original smell on that figure is so tied to nostalgia for me personally. I always remember the way my original Stinkor figure smelled. Later on, we found out that that was a patchouli that they mixed in with the plastic that gave him that scent, and he never really stunk. Like, that was his gimmick, that he stunk like a skunk, but it wasn't really stinky, at least not to me. I thought it was kind of pleasant. It was patchouli after all. Let me tell you guys something. I am disappointed with the new Stinkor as far as his smell goes. Now, couple things I want to mention with that. First of all, it's definitely not patchouli this time. The scent is so different. It's one of those things that was instantly disappointing for me because I wanted to rip this open and have that same smell. The Classics one from a few years back, I guess several years at this point, but that one did a good job of capturing that same vintage smell. This one is a new smell entirely, and it is a little bit more on the awful side, but it's also very faint. And it is more of like a plasticky smell more than anything, I think. In fact, I've had several people reporting to me on social media that they don't think their Stinkor smells at all. And I can kind of see that because it's almost hard to decipher this from just a regular plastic smell, although it is a bit worse than like regular plastic smell, but it is faint. It's not very strong. I remember that Mattel did say in one of the interviews that I did with them that they couldn't use the same scent. I guess it's not available anymore for toys, which is interesting. But they tried to replicate it, but it is very far off. So I understand that maybe they didn't have the means to use the same smell, but man, it's still a bit disappointing. I wish that the smell was a little bit more spot on to the original. I also wish it was a little bit stronger. That is all me personally. There might be plenty of you out there who don't care if your toy smells or not. So, hey, more power to you if you feel that way. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Now, just like with the vintage action figure, basically this guy is a recolor of Merman with the mecha neck armor, and this new figure does a great job of capturing that look. He's got the black white, orange, and red motif. I love the way that the white stripes are painted on the side. It all looks real nice and clean. It's very bright white as well, which I really like. Same can be said for the back of the head there. Now, when we look at his face, you can see the mouth is totally unpainted. It's just all solid black. Would have been kind of cool if they painted the teeth or something on there. But again, I understand they're just trying to mimic the way the vintage action figure looked. There is some nice red on the armor. The armor is also more of that softer plastic that we have seen on a lot of the Origins figures. And hey, I guess we know that this means that Mechanic is probably on the way, right? Because now we've got that armor in existence. So articulation, of course, is going to be exactly what you've come to expect with these figures. Plus, it does have all the removable bits. So you got the head that can pop off the joint there. The arms can go outwards, forwards, backwards, swivel at the elbow, bend at the elbow, single joint, swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist. You can also pop the arms out of socket. You can pop the wrists out of socket there for some nice mixing and matching between your other Origins figures. The waist can turn left and right and can pop off the joint there. You got those hinge joints at the thighs, so legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards, swivel at the knee, bend at the knee, swivel at the boot. Ankle can move forwards and backwards as well as rock side to side, and you can pop the boots off as well. So again, lots of mixing and matching options if you're into that sort of thing. All the articulation functions really well on this guy. Again, reuse of Merman's body, so we already know what to expect as far as that goes. And he does look great. Seriously, I've always been a big fan of Stinkor, not just because of the smell, but because I thought he was a cool looking character, and this figure definitely looks really cool. He does come with one accessory in the form of his blue shield, of course, just like on the vintage toy. This has got kind of that more flat handle on there, so you can get it in either one of his hands there. It's a bit harder to get it in the gripping hand, but you can see it is possible. It actually does fit over the more open hand as well. You can actually fit the 4 fingers in there pretty good. So really, either one of his hands can hold it. Poor Stinkor doesn't ever get any other weapons other than a shield. He's been given like a gun before. I think we got a gun with him in Classics. Would have liked to see that continue here, but Mattel really does seem to be sticking to the format of just doing them like the vintage figures with Origins, so only a blue shield for this particular Stinkor. All right, guys, it's comparison time. Let's go ahead and stand them alongside that vintage Stinkor figure that we've talked about so much already, just so you can see the similarities between these two figures. And we're going to go ahead and stand them alongside the Masters of the Universe Classics version of Stinkor as well. That one came with 2 heads. It had the merman head, but it also had a more original, more skunk-like head, which is what we got here. So I just wanted to show those side by side so you could see the differences there. And there you go, my friends. There is a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Stinkor. Look, my disappointment with the smell aside, it's still a really great figure. I've always been a big fan of this weirdo, and I'm really glad that he's already here in the Origins line. Plus, as I mentioned, this introduces the armor that we're probably going to be seeing from Mechanic anytime now. So that's pretty great stuff. And yeah, man, it's kind of amazing that the Origins line is really just banging out all of these vintage characters like this. Feels like they are really making some headway there. So Stinkor is starting to hit store shelves right now. I actually had mine pre-ordered over at Big Bad Toy Store, so I will link to them in the video description so you can see what they have in stock currently. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video, and until next time.